Hello, I guess Jennifer's supposed to do the intro, but she's sitting there, so.
I was waiting for it to. Francois always does the intro, so I was waiting for it to be more intro like.
It's a new intro. Good evening, everyone. I'm not supposed to say evening,
Yes,
but anyway.
Hello, everybody. Bonjour. Welcome to Wine and Real Estate. So tonight we're going to be talking with our favorite Ottawa realtor, Rachelle Shea, and she'll be with us talking about all things Ottawa real estate, which is a really hot topic right now. And
we're trying a new setup, so yeah.
Yes,
go ahead.
I don't to the telephone, so I don't know what I'm doing.
Hopefully the sound is good too. We got some new mics, so we're upgrading.
Upgrading.
And Rachelle will be able to tell us.
Hello.
Can you hear us okay?
I can.
Good.
Okay. We can hear you good, so that's good.
Got some new mics, and unfortunately they're not cordless, but anyway.
Oh.
Yes, we're not very technical. Well, Frost was more technical than I am, but that's okay. Oh, now we can't hear you.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Oh, now we can.
Okay. I was like, is she messing with us?
It's gone quiet. This is a first.
Should I do the whole Bruce Lee thing to go to mess with us and make us think that it's not working?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm never quiet.
Okay.
Oh, invest like a girl one. Hello, good evening. So we're meeting with you in January. Very excited from beautiful Texas. So here we're nice and, well, we don't have much snow left right now.
It's been a warm, well, it's not winter technically yet, but it's been warmer. So, Rachelle, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking a red from Tom Gore.
Oh, really? Okay. We actually have a bottle of Tom Gore from one of our investors. But we haven't opened it yet.
It's a nice heavy tab for cold night. So yeah, it's quite good.
Awesome. We're actually opening the Chianti that you gave us in our Christmas baskets. Because we haven't been brave enough to open up the Amarone that you gave us.
Oh, save that for Christmas Day. It's a beautiful, beautiful bottle of wine.
Yeah, so we want to save it for a special occasion. Not that it's not special chatting with you, but I mean, we want to save for something extra special.
So this one, I got to open it up.
Yeah, so he's going to open it where it's got a fork. So we usually get the cheap twisty ones because you have to have those close to you at all times. So while he's doing that, I guess you're more red than white, or do you like both? Or
I tend to not drink very much white. If I'm going to drink a white, it's got to be a Pinot Grigio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I don't like an oaky in my red or my white. I don't like an oaked barrel. I don't like a heavy oak.
Oh, okay. That's funny because I actually do look kind of like the oaky, almost like a smoky cigar taste to wine sometimes.
But not in white.
Not in white. No, I'll agree with you on that one for sure.
Chardonnay is a little bit too oaky for my taste.
Yeah,
but
well, they're often oak barrel, the Chardonnay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Ooh, this one smells really nice.
So you have to swirl it a bit.
Yes, we're going to do the famous swirling. Not very good at that, but anyway, there we go.
Salud.
Cheers.
So cheers for 2020 and 2021. So exciting stuff happening.
Lots of great stuff happening. I can see awesome stuff in your future.
Thank you.
Yes, it's going to be exciting, and I'm sure you're going to be part of it.
Yes. Guaranteed.
So, do you have a funny wine story to tell us?
Well, I stopped drinking it by the box.
That's good.
No, I really like to try new wines. Okay. And do you know that if you buy a bottle of LCBO and you don't like it, you can cork it and bring it back?
Oh, no. Actually, I did not know that.
True story. Yeah,
That's totally a Francois trick.
I can see that. No, if you open up a bottle and you don't like the flavor, they will take it back with no problem.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
It's like a money back guarantee.
Yeah, it's a money back guarantee. It's not because it takes off or whatever, you just don't like it. They'll take it back.
Really? Wow, that's actually a good tip to know.
Yeah, I didn't know.
So maybe not a funny story, but a very good tip.
Yeah. The tip is to stay away from boxed wine.
glass wine at the LCBO?
They do.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Well, then I guess you get through 3/4 of the box and then take it back and say you don't like it.
Add some water
Well,
to it. It's all the same.
That would work, but let me
Not a good example.
Yeah, no, maybe not.
funny.
So for people who know nothing about you, tell us a little bit about your real estate journey. When and why did you become a real estate
A realtor.
a realtor?
Yeah.
Like a real estate
15 years, I think, this year. 15 or 16 or
16 years. In 2004. So I have actually a management background. I worked for Bell Canada for many years.
Really?
Yeah, I used to manage Bell International. I was in charge of the irate customers.
Oh, that's fun.
I used to accounts, and actually, while I was on mat leave with my young Ian, they called and offered me a retirement package that was too good not to accept. So at that point, I had choices. I was either going to be a paramedic or a realtor.
Wow, quite a change.
Yeah, and I just decided, you know what, I couldn't deal with vomit. So here I am. I'm selling houses, and I'm doing what I absolutely love. And I've worked on a couple of teams, and I just, as you know, ventured out on my own in July of this year, and with Shea Ottawa. And I've been super successful, and I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I have a big future ahead of me. I hope to build a team eventually.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
It is a 5-year plan.
That's great. Wow. What a fluke way to find your passion. Like you just
Right?
paramedic or real estate agent.
Yeah. It wasn't something that I kind of grew up always wanting to be. I had known some agents, and a couple of people had said that I would be good. I have a background in waitressing, so a lot of customers. I waitress for 16 years. So, I'm a people person. I'm very easy to get along with. So it was just a natural progression for me. And I love it. There are very few people who can honestly say that they love what they do for a living. And I am so passionate about what I do. And I'm so grateful that I get to get up and go and do what I love. Truly.
What a great attitude to have too, because I'm sure like you love what you do, but it's not always easy, right? So,
No.
No, it's far from easy. I've had a bumpy road. It's not TV. Everybody thinks, that it's this glamorous job. You guys know it's not all. I've sat on sits for you. I've had spiders in my hair.
Yes.
It's not like TV. Success is not automatic. That needs to be worked on. And it takes years to build up your business. And I'm finally at that where, I can take a breath, and I'm still working quite hard, but I feel like I've turned a corner, and loving it. I'm very, very glad I work with great people like you.
Oh, that's great.
You.
Yes. For people who don't know, Rachelle is our go-to for anything Ottawa realty.
Ottawa and Eastern Ontario.
Ottawa area, because you really do need to work with a real estate agent that knows the area, that knows what they're talking about, and who isn't going to tell you BS, because it's
because there's a lot who
so
say
important.
BS out there.
Yes, well, it's so important to be able to work with a real estate agent that you trust, because it's not a small purchase that you're making. Even as a real estate agent, even if you're purchasing more than one property, you have to be able to trust the person with whom you're working, because otherwise you can be a real mess.
Yeah, and as investors, we buy multiple properties, so we need to know. I can call you up, hey, we're going to look at all these places, and you're like, what are you doing? This is like all over the place, but we're exploring things, and then eventually we get a deal. And as an investor, it takes, I don't know, like 40 deals before we buy one, so it's frustrating, but...
Yeah, 2020 hasn't been easy for buyers and investors, especially because your purchase is non-emotional, right? It makes sense sense-wise. And your percent rule is getting harder and harder to attain in this market. And I don't know if it's going to be better next year. I don't mean to be all doom and gloom. I'm a realist. I'll always be like a straight shooter and tell you. I think that the market is going to be tough again if inventory remains low and interest rates remain low. It's going to, which is forecasted to happen.
Yeah, I heard that.
But it's not impossible. You just have to be creative, right? And we've been creative. We go outside the box. We go, and you work a little, really.
Yeah, Shaz, sorry to interrupt you. I don't know if you have a headset or something. It's cutting in and out quite a bit. I apologize.
Yeah.
I don't have.
No. Oh, or maybe come closer to the phone. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, just it cuts out a little bit. We want to see your pretty face.
And we want to hear you. So.
Yes.
All right.
So maybe do you want to just tell people what it's been like a little bit in the real estate market in Ottawa and in the area for 2020 for people who maybe are listening and aren't aware?
Sure. Well, as you guys know, it's inventory is at an all-time low. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's all good now.
It's good? Okay. So inventory remains a problem. There's just not enough properties out there for the number of buyers. So it's been challenging, and what's happened is pretty much everything has gone into multiple offer situations. So when a property comes on the market from an investor perspective, the price might look good, the 1% rule might work, it might make sense, but then on offer day, there's 20 offers and it ends up selling for 30, 40, 50, 60, $100,000 over asking. It no longer makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's been like that all year, really. And when COVID hit in March, I was really worried. I thought, oh boy, what is this going to mean for the market? We didn't know what to expect. So we had about, I would say, a 3 or 4 week lull in the market. But then it just took off like a rocket.
That's so surprising, eh?
Yeah, listings were being taken off. People were pulling their listings and stuff.
Yeah.
It was really weird. And now then it went way back and it was crazy.
It did. And what am I doing here? There we go. Sorry, I touched something. And unfortunately, the forecast is, I mean, it's great for sellers when it's a seller's market, but those sellers have to turn around and buy something, right? So this is where the inventory, lack of inventory comes into play. People are hesitant to list their properties because where are they going to go?
Yeah.
So it's like a vicious cycle, and it's projected to be the same in 2021. So we're in for another bumpy ride. But as investors, you have other options. I mean, and those do involve not using a realtor, but, knocking on doors and trying to find off-market deals, which is not a terrible thing to do. A lot of legwork.
Yeah.
But
we prefer that you do it. You sit on the toilet.
Well, why? But
But yeah, totally off market is really important. Pocket deals, like you've brought us some deals before they were hitting the market and things. It didn't work out so far, but sometimes it's just the perfect deal for someone, and that's it. You need to build a relationship with your realtor.
Yeah, it's important to get them working for you, right? It's we have to be creative in a market like this for sure.
Yes. So you've been at it now for 16 years. What did the market look like 16 years ago compared to now? Like, what do you see like as the biggest differences between then and now? And what's the stay true things, the things that never change?
So when you look back, not even necessarily 16 years ago, even as early as 2016, 17, and before that, when you have a balanced market, the days on market for a house that's up for sale, the average was 45, 60 days.
Wow.
Now, right? And we were doing price reductions, and trying to sell someone's house was difficult because there was so much competition. So there was always a lot of room for negotiation. From an investor's point, there was money to be saved so that you're more cash flowing.
Yeah.
So we're definitely not seeing that today. But you have to remember that real estate is a cycle. This is not going to last forever.
No, for sure.
There will be a market correction. When will that happen? I wish I had a glass ball. I really do, but I don't. So, so the biggest difference I see now is, I mean, if you have a listing, it's as good as sold. Everything sells.
Yeah.
Yeah, even like you said, you had spiders in your hair, you're sitting on toilets. Like, we've visited some pretty weird properties.
Nasty
and they're all selling, and
they are
for top dollar.
Yeah.
There's a buyer for everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and I look at people who bought in 2018. For instance, I had this buyer who bought a little, it's one of those walk-up upper lower condos, some Minto builds in Orleans. He paid $223,000 for it in 2018.
Wow.
It is now worth $400,000.
Oh, man.
That's crazy.
Wow.
It's almost double.
It's almost double.
In 2 years.
So I wish I would have had a glass ball. I would have bought 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but this won't stay the same. It can't.
No,
We won't, and we will never end up like Toronto.
I hope not.
No.
So in your 16 years, has it been more often a buyer's market or a seller's market?
For the majority of the time, it's been a balanced market.
Okay, so not either or, just really more equal.
But also, you know, there were years where it was a buyer's market, where there was such a surplus of inventory that you could really negotiate hard to get a good price on a house.
Yeah, I don't even remember those days. It feels like it's so long time
when we bought our first house.
Yeah, 2006. I remember that.
Yeah.
We were able to bargain, and
yeah, but
and it took a full year to sell our house because it was an unusual property. So
yeah,
that doesn't happen anymore. That really doesn't happen. With that being said, though, I mean, I'm seeing a shift lately, and that is, I think a lot of it's due to Christmas. I mean, it's the Christmas season, so people are not, they're not focused on real estate right now. They're spending time with family and doing the Christmas thing. But the listings that are coming up, I mean, I think today there were only 30.
Whoa, okay.
Really? What, like
That's
30
low.
new ones or 30 like on the market?
30 new. The last time I had checked this afternoon, we were only at 30.
Oh, really? Wow. So
yeah,
that's not very many.
No.
You have 1 million people. That's very few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we invest in multiple markets, as you know. And if you look at Moncton, New Brunswick,
there's more inventory there than there is in Ottawa, which doesn't make sense for the difference of population. But
so it's also red hot there and multiple offers and things go quickly, but there's more inventory. Like it's going down quickly. We're seeing a big difference from between March when we first bought our places and now, but it's not Ottawa yet. So there's still quite a bit of room to grow.
So you're able to negotiate on price in Moncton?
Yeah,
a little bit. Not you're not going to get a huge discount, but you can still negotiate, which is a little bit of a breath of fresh air compared to Ontario.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So how do you think that the government confinement that's been announced is going to affect real estate?
The lockdown and
everything.
Well, I think because of the timing, just the fact that it's January and real estate tends to be quiet in January anyway, I don't think it's going to affect us.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that if we were in spring market, it might be a very different story.
Yeah.
It's kind of good timing for you guys then.
Well, it actually is. I mean, and let's just say a prayer that this actually does some benefit to getting the virus under control. I mean, we're not so bad here in Ottawa.
Yeah, not that many cases.
But, you know, not to get into COVID talk, but I understand the need to do it. And I think that the timing is good just after Christmas. So hopefully everybody's going to do their part. But as far as real estate goes, I really don't see an effect, not in the Ottawa market anyway.
And it's actually an opportunity. I was kind of disappointed last night about this lockdown.
He was doing the baboon.
Yeah, I was really pouting and not happy. But our daughter inspired me, and that's something I'm going to start hopefully tomorrow. I wanted to do it today, but she inspired me. She said, why don't you turn it into a challenge? Challenge yourself to do certain things better than you've ever done. So we're going to start a new challenge on 3 levels. One is, spiritual, financial, and health as well. So one of our goals, one of my crazy goals, is to buy 10 properties during the lockdown.
Only François has those crazy goals. Yes, 10 properties during
That's
the
ambitious.
lockdown.
Yeah, why not? Without seeing them, I need like crazy people like Rachelle here to help me buy those 10 places.
Yes.
Why not? And you know what? Kudos to your daughter for having that kind of attitude. Like, you've done a great job raising your kids. I have to give you a shout out on that. Your kids are amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
She was also very disappointed because her gymnastics.
Yeah, no gymnastics for a month. So we kind
and it's detrimental. 1 month, like 1 week off for competitive gymnastics, I think you lose like 20% of your agility or something crazy. So it's very hard on her to go back and forth. So, and she was very positive about it. I'm like, okay, if you can be positive, then yeah, I should.
Amen.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. You got
it. Our kids teach us stuff all the time.
Oh my goodness.
And do look at this as an opportunity. There's in every dark cloud, there is a silver lining. Always. Yeah, you have to have that attitude. There's opportunity everywhere. So you just have to, there's 2 types of people, I believe, in the world. There are those who seize opportunity when everybody else is sort of turtling and feeling sorry for themselves. And I'm not saying that this is easy and that you shouldn't feel sorry for yourself. But, we just got to pull up our socks and do the best that we can and move forward.
Yeah, we don't have a choice anyway, so
we don't. Absolutely.
One of my other goals is to help people find ways of creating passive income or multiple streams of income. I want to help those business people that are struggling. I know we have some investor partners and they own a restaurant. So imagine how that's been. So
it's awful.
I want to help them find passive income, sources of income where they're able to sustain and survive through the lockdown and make some money, and they have kids. So I know there's tons of business people out there. There's so many ways you can get creative and like buy properties and find like finance deals and things and get this income going in no matter what. So you don't need to worry anymore. That's
great. That's amazing.
Thank you. So we'll see the result with the live and stuff. Hopefully it's that amazing, but you can tell me. If not, I'll drink more wine.
How is the wine?
It's very good, yes.
Good.
You were cheap pouring, though.
I was cheap pouring?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Chianti Classico. Yeah, Italy, so we love Italian wines.
So tell us, Rachelle, I'm going to stick to our questions here. What do you like the most and what do you like the least about real estate?
So what I like the most is helping and meeting people like you.
It's funny.
It is. It really is. I take real estate purchases and sales really seriously. It's your biggest financial investment.
That's so true.
They're big, big, big decisions that are not to be taken lightly. And, as a realtor, my job is to make sure that you buy smart so that we maintain a relationship. I mean, what's the use in selling you something that's garbage, that doesn't have good resale or has issues with it, and then we don't have a relationship going forward? I couldn't, sleep at night. I just don't work like that. And it's not a good way to run your business.
No.
So, I mean, my favorite part is helping and meeting people like you. And a lot of my clients turn into friends,
That's so true.
Yeah.
It is true.
I even cried on your shoulder a little bit.
That's okay. Yeah, I know.
Which property was that? Oh, was it?
I can't remember.
The first one we bought with you that Jennifer cried. She's like, this is the worst house I ever bought.
Clover Heath.
Yeah, it was dirty.
It was dirty.
There was poop on the floor.
But
anyway, we won't go into the details.
No, but we made $140,000 on it. So.
But yeah, it still was a good investment. It just didn't feel good at the moment.
I know. And Nature Trail made up for it because you moved into a nice clean house.
Yeah, we didn't even have to dust in
Oh
this
my
place.
goodness,
The other place you had
ever.
to shovel the dirt
Several
out.
things, yes. We won't go into the details. And what do you like the least about real estate?
The ability to turn it off.
Yeah, there's no end to it.
Well, that must be hard because you're always working at it. Like you have people like us texting you on the weekends and on the
10 p.m. How's this place? Do I look like I care? Pretend at least.
Yeah.
But you know what? When you get into this business, it's what you sign up for. And it's about, I'm not working 24 hours a day. I, block time off, and I do have time to myself and time with my kids. But it's the...
I can't really tell, though, because you do usually answer us within an hour.
I know. But that's just the way that it works, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if I have a relationship with somebody and they're looking for a property, then I should be available. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to talk at 10 o'clock at night, but I want you to know that I got your message, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
difference, because in your business, it's so important to be reactive, because if you're working with like a real estate agent or even somebody who's just trying to buy their first home or a home, if you're not quick to get an answer, then we could lose the deal or somebody could lose out on buying that property. Yeah. It's just kind of the nature of the beast.
Like
especially in this market.
Yeah.
This summer you got us our duplex here in Orleans, and
that was like a 15-minute, okay, let's write it up now.
Yeah, some crazy stuff. Or the house we're in right now as well. I think you were at a presentation center and you borrowed someone's laptop.
No, that was for the duplex.
That was for the duplex.
Yes.
Yeah, I was doing two things at the same time. Listen, I've had my son in at the dentist, and I'm writing offers in my car. And so you really need to be able to be adaptive and reactionary to the situation. And I mean, we both know that we have tried to reach agents. Sometimes they're just unreachable. And I don't understand how you can run your business like that. And it's not just like unreachable for days.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Like not an exceptional day where you're just taking
Christmas
the day off or whatever, but
or like some days I can see, but I mean Monday, Tuesday you should hear back normally.
Yes.
Yeah. So I try to do that. It's important.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because it does make it so that it's hard for you to shut it off. But I guess then you just have to put your mindset in a place where when it's a downtime, you kind of have to, that during Christmas time, you're probably not going to get a call. We won't call you, I promise.
Oh, it's okay.
No, I need to buy 10 places.
Yes,
so.
I'm going to be bored. Call me. I'm bored. I'm bored already. No, I'm going to try to take some time off between now and New Year's, but working on my business plan for 2021 and, doing accounting and all that gross stuff. But, I'm going to take some time for sure.
Yeah. It's important because then you have to be ready for 2021.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what is your best real estate, sorry, I didn't drink that much wine.
Let's have a sip.
It's been a long
Cheers.
week already. Yes. Cheers.
Is it only Tuesday?
I know.
Oh God.
Yeah. So your best.
But anyway, I worked yesterday from 7:30 in the morning until 9 o'clock at night, and then our daughter wanted us to work out at 5:30 this morning.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So, what is your best real estate tip for someone who's looking to buy, and then what's your best tip for someone who's looking to sell?
So, looking to buy, you have to be prepared. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all about getting your financial ducks in a row. First of all, if you don't have your financial ducks in a row, it's like going shopping without your wallet. Yeah. So you might see something that you really like, but you can't buy it. So what's the point of going, right? Yeah. So when I'm working, especially with first-time buyers, I'm all about education. So gather knowledge, work with somebody that you trust, get your financial ducks in a row, and buy within your means.
Yeah, that's so true. Because you're here and you can't afford the house and you end up hating it.
And even with real estate investors, I think that one of the first things that Ross and I do before we start shopping again is we call our broker, or we line up an investor who's going to be working with us, a money partner, credit partner, whoever it is. We line up our people, or kind of line them up close.
Set expectations. Yeah,
and then we call that shit, because I think that that's important, like you said, because I think in this market, is it still like no conditions?
It is.
So a few conditions. So you have to make sure you're ready.
You have to make sure that you're ready, and it's tough to buy within your means if your agent is, if you're qualified for, let's say, 400,000, and your agent has you set up for a search up to 400,000. Well, I can guarantee you're not going to be successful, because that $400,000 house is going to sell for 500,000.
Yeah.
So, what I do is I lower our search criteria so that we're looking within our means. There's nothing worse than being sent something by your agent that you can't afford to buy.
Yeah. You fall in love with it, and it's your dream house, and then can't do it.
So being prepared is probably my biggest, and not just going to the bank, but meeting with your agent, talking about the process, looking at the forms, so that this market is moving very quickly. The more knowledge you have, the better position you're in to be successful in your offer, and less stress, right?
Yeah. It's already stressful enough.
it's very stressful. Now, as far as sellers go, you need to work with an agent who, knows what they're doing. If this was 3 years ago, selling was very different. There was a lot of staging involved, and a lot more preparation.
Are people doing staging anymore?
I do, yes, I do staging, but not on every house. I mean, I do on the ones that need the staging done. But, get your house prepared. You've got one kick at the can, and normally we're listing, as you know, for like a week. So be prepared to have a lot of people going through your house. If you can move out for a week, even better.
Yeah.
Because it's very disruptive, but it's also fast and furious.
Yeah.
It happens quickly.
That was the best tip ever for us in March. We went away.
Yeah, we went away for the week. It was perfect.
Yeah. Came back, it was sold. I'm like, oh, that was so easy.
Right? Yeah. So, but, in a lot of people this year were buying before they were selling. So that's scary, right? That's really scary. And that's a major responsibility on the realtor to make sure that you are being protected, because the last thing you want to do is own 2 houses.
No. Unless they're good investments, but normally
exactly,
or family home is not a good investment. You can't rent it for enough.
And that's one place where investors have an advantage in the Ottawa market is that they're not selling a property; they're usually just buying. So
that's it.
It gives them a little bit more of an advantage, because they don't have that stress. They're not looking at a certain moment because they sold their house and now they have to buy another one. So that's the thing that I find is less stress for an investor.
Do you want to scroll up in case there's some questions? I think you scrolled down.
Oh, sorry. I didn't even show these people. Sorry.
I think maybe they're gone now, but let's see.
Sorry, I didn't even see.
Questions.
All of these people are asking questions.
Normally I manage the phone. But...
Sorry, everyone. François is the phone manager, and I'm the one who's by the phone and didn't even know.
So I think we had a question.
Okay, hold on a second.
Maybe not. Maybe just a bunch of people watching us.
There's a lot of people saying hello.
Hi, everybody. We're glad you joined us.
If you're still
there.
There you go.
Here we go. Do you know why wine mostly comes in screw caps now?
Convenience.
It's cheaper.
That way, when you have it in your car and you're bored, you go like that.
No. No, but it's in the screw caps. I think it's mostly because it's cheaper for the production.
The actual the cork, it comes from trees from specific areas, and I think they were actually running low on cork because it's.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, they peel it off from some trees, and of course it's nicer with a cork, and it's a nice experience. Yes. It smells. You can smell your cork.
I love the smell of the cork.
isn't it? I think it's like Portugal, and there's a few countries
I'm not
where
sure.
they grow cork. But yeah, and then they went with the plastic. It looks like rubbery cork. That's
Yeah, that
also
didn't seem to be
good.
very popular though. I don't see many of those anymore.
But a
At
good
least you
bottle.
still get the action of opening the bottle.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah, because it's part of the experience of drinking wine.
It is. That's why I waited for this one to open it, because normally it's a screw cap. You go like this and you're done.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
those are
we
less
do have more questions. Sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm the wine manager, Mike. That's right.
Yeah.
Also usually manages the phone, and I manage the wine. So we have someone who's asking a question. What will happen to the market in Q1 of 2021 for Ottawa? Well, obviously you can't exactly tell, but what are your thoughts, Rachelle?
Well, I would say that in a normal market, Q1 is normally pretty quiet. People, I mean, historically speaking, people are coming down from Christmas, getting over the shock of their visa bills, and it's cold.
Not selling because of the visa bill.
But it's cold. Who wants to, list their house and all of that stuff? With that being said, I'm, reaching out to people who are on the fence about selling. It's the best time to sell. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's the best time to sell because the serious buyers will be out and about shopping.
Less competition.
Absolutely.
About it when we want to put a property on market is in February.
Yep.
I think it's a good time.
It is. It's a great time.
Because you're just before that crazy wave in March, April. So you're like the early people. Yeah. And you need time to set up your house, like you said earlier, clean it up. We're going to be doing that. That's also part of our crazy resolution. Get rid of a lot of stuff that we don't need. Less is more.
Well, that's just a never-ending story, but anyway.
But you've moved. When you took all of it with you?
No,
but we keep having more. We're like blessed with junk.
But you know
there are worse problems.
Since we moved here, I find that there's like a few things like I'm like, oh my goodness, we never ever used anything in that kitchen cupboard. Like ever. We didn't open that kitchen cupboard.
In 6 months, so we don't need it.
Yeah, so we don't need those things.
It's hard to get rid of stuff though. It's a psychological obstacle, and believe me, I've dealt with some hoarding situations.
Yes.
Yes.
We've seen a few of those.
Yeah, people like their stuff. It's hard to get rid of it. So, But back to the Q1 question. Yes. I mean, the long and short of it is, I think that it's going to be historically like it normally is.
Okay.
With the lockdown, I think that this is going to bring us to almost, I think it's January 24th or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think that, and let's face it, there's going to be a lot of people who are down in the dumps right now.
It's tough.
It is tough, and there's a lot of businesses that are being affected, and COVID has not been kind. So I think that the Q1 is going to be a little bit slower, but no more slower than any other year. So I think that like last year, we didn't really have, normally we have a spring market, and we have the summer tends to be more quiet. Then we have another little spike in September after the kids are gone back to school. But in 2020, all of that was out the window. I mean, there was no spring market. It started in April and it just went crazy all the way until November.
Really? Wow.
So I suspect that the same thing is going to happen this year. Yeah. But I do predict a quiet Q1, which is great for investors. If you are serious about buying properties, the longer that something sits on the market, the better chance you have to get it at a discounted price, right?
Yeah, that's so true, because they know that people have been waiting, right?
Yep.
There's a question about Get
so
Snow.
We have a question about Get Snow. It says, what are your views about Get Snow for real estate investing when Ottawa is going crazy? And one will obviously be overpaying. 2, does Shea specialize in real estate investing?
So the first question, I can't talk about the Gatineau market because I don't know it.
Yes.
The only thing that I do know is the information that I received from the agent that you have brought on. And what I can tell you is that From all accounts, I do believe that it's very similar to Ottawa, and prices are on the rise.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We've been looking at it.
Yeah.
It used to be.
It's not as crazy as the Ottawa market, I would say, but it still has been going up significantly.
It used to be a very affordable place to buy real estate.
It's
right across the bridge. But that is from. I only practice in Ontario. It's provincially regulated. So, but my understanding is that Gatineau is very similar to Ottawa. And the second question, do I specialize in real estate investment? No, I kind of do it all. It's not my specialty. There are agents who only work with investors. I tend to work with a whole bunch of different clients.
Yeah, you do work with quite a few real estate investors, though.
Oh yes, I have. Yeah.
And what I like about working with Rachelle is that you give us the truth. Sometimes it's hard to hear, like this is not a good place, and you'll say it. You'll be very frank about it. So some people are investor focused, but we've been burnt before, so yeah.
You have to be careful. You really have to trust your realtor. We as a realtor, I'm dealing with a huge amount of your money, huge, and one bad decision, or other people's money, right?
Not even our monies, but
right, or OPM.
Yes.
So you have to be really, really careful, and you have to build a relationship, a very trusting relationship with your agent, so that you feel comfortable and confident in their opinion. And you have to make sure that you're not working with an agent who wants to get the sale.
Yeah. I think that once you have, as a real estate agent, you have your guidelines. Like François and I know in each market how much we're willing to pay per door, what kind of
or cap rate if it's commercial.
If it's commercial.
Renovation budget, what's acceptable.
Yes, how many bedrooms we want per unit. We know all of that. And I think that once you know kind of what you're looking for, as long as you have a good agent that you can trust and that knows the market itself well, I think that can be less relevant.
Like, yeah, Cornwall, it's surprising, but the more bedrooms, the better, because it tends to be a lot of larger families. So it's very different here. Like 2-bedroom apartments are great. Cornwall, it's good, but 3-bedroom is really the best.
Yes.
3, 4, and up. So it's
because here, once you're in 3 bedrooms, people kind of end up buying their own little place themselves. So you have to know your market yourself, I think, and not really rely just on the real estate agent for that type of information.
For sure. It has to be a collaborative effort, right?
That's important.
And real estate investing is, it's a whole world, and it's all about educating.
Yeah. Right? Oh my goodness. And it's a never ending story.
It's about having you on at the right club to help us out, and it's been great, very pleasant.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm honored to have been asked.
Informative.
Thank you.
We actually have another question from Mike Nicholson. He said, will you be able to show and view houses during the lockdown?
Yes, we are considered an essential service. So so we'll get you those. We'll get you those 10. We'll get you those 10 sales. So yes, we are considered an essential service. There will be some sellers, however, that I think, everybody's level of concern about this virus is very different.
Yeah.
And there are some people who wouldn't even consider putting their house on the market during a lockdown.
Yes.
And I understand that, because when we put ours for sale, it was right when they announced pandemic, like in March, and that was rough. Like, we're like, 30 or 40 people went through our house, and we're not
we kind of like disinfected everything afterwards, but yeah.
So I know virtual tours and stuff, if those are, like, I'm seeing more and more of that, where they put the little, not sure what it's called, but those white disc, and you're able to click around, and It's
I
really
do that
nice.
with every one of my listings. I think it's really important to showcase a house the best that you can to avoid everybody wasting their time.
That's it.
It's a pain,
right?
but sometimes you'll have some real estate agents who take very little pictures and you get a very poor idea of what the property's like. And you've been there with us and we're like,
Oh,
What?
that's it.
We're like, what? Yeah, I get it.
So it's so important to have a good picture of what you're walking into before you get there, because it'll avoid tons of people going through the property for no reason.
But this can work to your advantage. And then,
Well, I believe that it is our moral responsibility. You know, when I have a seller, it's my job to take care of them. Not just from a sale point, but their health and safety is super important to me. So if we can minimize the amount of people going through there and still get them the ultimate result, which is an over asking offer, then you know what? I pay the extra for the it's called a Matterport walkthrough. So you know what? You got to work with an agent who's willing to spend the money and take this seriously. You know, with masks and sanitizer and limiting only 2 people per showing. And we haven't been able to do an open house since February.
Oh,
But
wow.
with that being said, I think that open houses don't sell houses.
No.
They just don't.
They bring curious people in, neighbors who want cookies and see what my neighbor's house looks like.
Neighbors who want cookies, that would be fast one.
I do, or wine. You serve wine, I don't care about the house.
Too funny.
But it can actually work for an investor. Bad pictures can work to your advantage. So you waste some time because you go to places and you don't know what they look like. But the first house we bought in Orleans, you remember, on Summerlands?
Oh, yes.
The person took a super close-up shot of the front of the house. So at first we ignored it. We're like, this is a townhouse. We're looking for a detached house.
Mm-hmm.
And then our realtor told us, no, you need to come. And she's not here anymore. She moved back to South Africa, but she was a crazy realtor, and she told us, you have to come. And I'm like, no, I don't want to see it. It's a townhouse. She's like, no. And then we showed up. We're like, okay, perfect. We're buying it. And no one was making offers, nothing.
Because of crappy photos.
Yeah, it looked like it was super dark and bad angles. So it was good, actually, for us.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. So what kind of advice would you give someone who's trying to get into the market in 2021?
Goes back to preparation.
Okay.
Align yourself with people who know what they're doing. And it's not just realtors, it's mortgage brokers. You need to get your ducks in a row, because if we're going to head into the same kind of market that we've been experiencing, preparation is everything. Because if you're not prepared, you're going to continue to lose out. You're going to be looking beyond your means. And it gets very disheartening. I mean, I've worked with buyers this year that we've done 8, 10, 12 offers and lost repeatedly. And some of them didn't end up buying. But that's just the nature of the beast. I mean, you have to be prepared.
Yeah, that's so true.
Knowledge is power.
Real estate investors, what would you say would be a word of advice for them?
Buy in Q1.
Buy in Q1. Buy while everybody else is busy, locking down, dealing with debt from Christmas. There's a lot of opportunity in the next 8 weeks, in my humble opinion.
And
I think they're going.
Bored.
What's that?
Rachelle is bored, so now's the time to come.
Yeah.
I don't think she's had time to be bored yet.
She mentioned it earlier, too bad.
No. After Boxing Day, I'm good to go.
Yes. That's funny.
Yeah,
So,
take advantage.
Yeah, that's a good point. We have another question. Oh, it says here, thank you very much. Is Savvy Real Estate Investing Group the main local group in Ottawa? I'm new to investing and looking to be a part of the right networks groups, and also for REI. So I wouldn't say it's the main one, but it's the best one.
It's the best one because we started.
I agree.
So it's quality over quantity. But yeah, there's Oreo. So yes, Ottawa Real Estate, I forget what the acronym stands for, but it's the biggest group in Ottawa. Oreo, not like the cookie, OREIO.
Yeah. So
look it up, oreo.org, I think. Great group, awesome networking. there's also the Right Club, REITE Club, and it's a national group.
Maybe say what Right stands for.
Yeah, real estate investment training and education club, and we now have an Ottawa chapter, Ottawa, Western Quebec.
Where Ottawa Savvies comes from?
Yeah, Ottawa Savvies, and then it became kind of Right Club Ottawa, and now Right Club is expanding national. We have Calgary starting in February. We have Toronto. We have Atlantic Canada.
It's a great place to start if you're just starting out in real estate investing. A great place to learn. That's one of their slogans is "Come grow with us."
And it's so true. I've grown with them tremendously, and it's free. Rachelle is on sometimes.
Yes,
we've had some
great group of people.
Investors from Gatineau, so a lot of people looking at Quebec. So we're really expanding in Quebec. We're going to do some in English because there's a large Anglophone population. Western Montreal, and then French as well is starting in the spring. So great group, and it's all virtual. That's what I like. Oreo as well has been hosting virtual meetups, virtual groups, so great way of investing.
It will be so nice though when we are able to do that again in person, right?
Yes.
I miss that.
It's going to be lots of long and awkward hugs.
Right?
I don't like hugs, but I feel like having a hug now.
Yes.
Aww.
That's not fair because Rachelle has no one to hug.
Oh, she's got her.
I've got Jack.
Oh, yes.
Jack.
Oh, and my kids. What am I saying?
I know. She goes for the dog first.
I do. You know why? Because he loves me unconditionally. Yeah, he's easy.
So one last question before letting you go. It's the one that we ask often is what would you do if you had to start all over? What would you do differently?
I would have started in real estate in my 20s.
I think that's
Can
what
you
everyone
imagine
says,
now
yeah.
how far along you'd be? Like you'd
have your own team already.
It wouldn't be Remax Hallmark. It'd be Remax or Remax Shea Ottawa.
Yeah, I would have started in this business earlier. But the beautiful thing is that when you're a realtor, I never really have to retire.
No. Yeah, you can do this part-time and have
from Curacao, you know.
Yes.
So I would have started earlier. It was just not in the cards. It's a hard job to have when you have little ones. I did manage when they were small, but yeah, if I had, you know, I could have been 25 years in if I had done it differently. But I had other great experiences in life that kind of led me here. So no regrets.
Oh, that's good. Well, I was just going to say a lot of times, like François and I too will say, oh, I wish we had done this earlier, done that quicker, invested earlier. But a lot of things that we did younger kind of brought us to where we
are now. Yeah. Otherwise, there's no way we would have.
I don't think we would have done it.
Maybe you'd have red hair now, so who knows? I mean.
But here's the thing: every path leads us somewhere, right?
Yeah. That's so true.
So you can't live life with regret or shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
Yeah.
You just have to seize it now and believe in yourself.
Yeah,
right?
That's so true.
Like the sky is the limit for you two. I see amazing things in your future, and I see your kids following behind you and your legacy and creating your real estate empire. And I'm so glad to be a part of it.
Oh, well, we're glad that you are too, because it's really been a big help to us.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
We have one last question on the screen there.
It says here, thanks a lot. Shay, someone I know said that REI-focused realtors only truly help if they are exclusive. I was told exclusivity for a 100-kilometer radius of Ottawa. Is that reasonable if one trusts a realtor?
Someone I know said that real estate-focused realtors only truly help if they are exclusive.
So I think that means if they sign a contract with you, like to work exclusively with you?
Well, here's the thing about it. That's called a buyer representation agreement. I have a real problem having somebody sign one of those contracts.
I was going to say, we've never signed one with you.
Only at the time of an offer. And you know what? That has bit me in the butt a few times where I've lost a client. But there has to be a mutual respect and trust and loyalty between a client and an agent. So if you're committed to working with a realtor and they are committed to working with you, the exclusive part, I mean, I think that just goes without saying, right? But I don't know. I have a really hard time asking somebody to sign an exclusive contract with me when they don't even know how I work or who I am or what my experience is.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's learned over the time that you build a relationship with someone.
Yeah.
And you know what? At the end of the day, if I've lost some time because I didn't get somebody to sign a contract and it just doesn't end up working out, then so be it.
Yes.
But that's how I roll.
I think the only reason that Francois and I, we don't have a tendency to sign one as well is because you just might end up getting one of those oddball off the market deals. And then you kind of feel bad because you signed that deal with your agent, but you have to go for the off market deal without an agent.
Well, and that's a good point. You need to be very, very careful about what you're signing with a buyer representation agreement. I always write in there, if I'm signing something before the time of an offer, then I will put something in there. Listen, if you're going to go buy a for sale by owner or a red and white for sale sign on the lawn, I, by law, cannot represent you in the transaction because I have no skin in the game.
Yeah.
So if, you know, things go sideways and I ended up with a lawsuit, my errors and omissions insurance doesn't kick in.
Yeah, which makes
sense. So, you know, I am. I am not promoting, you know, as realtors, we work really, really hard. There's a lot of time that we put in and don't get paid for it. Hours and hours and hours, weeks of work that we don't get paid for. We expect our clients to be as loyal as possible, but you want to also make sure that you're not going to work with an agent who's going to charge you a commission if you go and buy something exclusive, like a little red and white sign. I have never, ever in 15 years collected a commission off a buyer. In my opinion, I think it's wrong. So just, you have to be very, very wary about what you're signing.
Yeah, well, I think it's so honest with your realtor and you tell them, if I buy an off-market deal, it will be with you, but if I buy something on market, I'm going to make sure it's with you, and then that way you know. And you might just be able to get their advice on the off-market deal and pay them something. Like, I don't know if that's even doable, but
I've never charged for something like that personally, because what I normally do is I refer them to a lawyer. At that point, you need representation, and I don't like to have any part of that legally because I'm not protected. And it's not because I'm trying to be a jerk about it. It's actually in that buyer's best interest to have representation. And if it has to be a lawyer, it's going to cost them money. But you need to be well protected and know what you're signing. And there's a lot of value attached to that as an agent. It's our job to explain what you're getting into.
That's so true, and that's a good point.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to get a hold of you, Rachelle, so that they can either buy a property with you or sell their property with you, how can they get a hold of you?
The best way is you can go to my website at sheaottawa.com, or you can message me at 613-850-3948. And I'm usually, as you know, pretty quick at getting back to people.
The quickest real estate agent we work with. Absolutely.
Good.
Great. So that's perfect. Well, thank you so much for being on with us tonight and for this nice bottle of Chianti.
Good.
Chianti Classico.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yes. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you shortly after Boxing Day.
Sounds great.
We're giving you 4 days holidays.
Woohoo! I'll be here on the 26th. Call me. I'll be bored.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you, everyone who was listening, and have a good night.
Thanks.
You.
I never know how to end these things. So
click on the X there.
Bye.
Bye.
C'est ça?
Oui, encore.
Non, je l'ai pas fait. Oh, sorry. Vous voulez vraiment mettre fin à terminer maintenant?